Hola mi gente, hola mis amores, bienvenidos, welcome back to the channel. Basically we're just gonna get right into it. This video is a very serious topic and we really just want to give the disclaimer and say we're gonna be talking about depression. It is a health issue, and if you have any problems with depression, I do recommend, if it helps you, please click out of this video. And even if you need a dislike or do whatever you have to do, I just want to make sure you are sane. We're gonna try our best to leave the hotlines down below if you just need someone to help talk through your situation with, because I know this is a very difficult time for a lot of people. So without further ado, we're gonna get on to the video. We're gonna start off this video first with saying what is the definition of depression, and we're gonna be using WebMD's definition, and most likely we'll leave a link down below on this. And basically it says right here: depression, a clinical mood disorder associated with low mood or loss of interest in activities a person once enjoyed, and other symptoms that prevent a person from leading a normal life. Types of depression include major depression, bipolar depression, persistent depressive disorder, and then it has in parentheses part, and depressive disorder with a seasonal pattern. So depression is a spectrum. It's not just one singular thing that is going on to every single person. And we're gonna go on to the next part of this video. We are 18 years old, we're twins. Clearly we have like this very similar face. I'm gonna start off with my story, since I went through depression a little bit younger than my sister had. So I kind of started with middle school, because like oh my god, everything started in middle school, like at least for me. But just getting into middle school was like a major change. Like I was so excited, you know, to meet new friends, to meet new people. Like I was like, the world is my oyster. Like I thought like everything was possible. I thought like this is where I'm gonna start glowing up. Like this is gonna be my year. Like everything's gonna change. So I never knew that it was gonna be a negative change. That first day, there was these people that were at the end of our table just making fun of us because we were like overweight and we were just very innocent looking, like as any 11-year-old, 10-year-old would look like. And yeah, I was really like sad, and I know my sister was too, because she dealt with that more than I had. But that was my first experience where someone said something like really rude to my face, and just it wasn't nice. I'm like nervous talking about it. But just a lot of people were very rude to me, and I didn't know why. And then I became so shy. Just every day in school, like people would tell me I was ugly, because like that's where like I started getting pimples on my face, and I used to get a lot on my chin. And like I just started getting some on my forehead, and I don't have many pictures of that time because I didn't have a phone, and I didn't I just didn't want to take pictures because I thought I was so ugly. Well, I just started feeling very sad, and it just got to the point where I just like, I love sports, right? And I just stopped like playing it as much. Stopped telling my parents everything. Like when I was having a bad day, I used to tell my parents everything. I used to tell my best friend, my sister, and my mom everything. Like, and I stopped telling them a lot of things, and I just didn't want them to know that I was sad, and I stopped spending so much time with them. So then I remember I was super sad. Like every night I would cry myself to sleep, and like no one knew for such a long time. And I was like, wow, I felt like I had buried a secret with me. I just didn't want to tell anyone, because, you know, like who's depressed at 11 years old? Like who would be depressed at 12? You know, like that's just, you know, that happens. Like we're seeing that a lot now because people are speaking up, but like during the time I was growing up, like no one would talk about it. One night I was going to sleep, and I just wanted not to end it all, but I was just tired of hearing like, not voices in my head, but like, you know, your own thoughts like attacking, like you're not enough, like you're just not worth it, you're not valid, like these people, like like, and they wouldn't change if you're gone. Like, your family would even mourn your loss, right? One moment, what happened was, just a thought came into my mind. It was so loud. It was so dark, and like the only thing that was on was the light in my hallway. And then I just heard a voice tell me like, "Go kill yourself." And yo, when I tell you, like, I jumped on my bed, right, and I was terrified. Okay, like, and you know, I thought like, oh, like the voice has a reason. But then it was like aggressive. It was like me, but aggressive. And I remember going into my covers, and I was like, God, just protect me. Like, I don't want to die. I didn't want to exist, but I didn't want to exist, but I still like I didn't want to die. Another occasion where I was washing dishes because, you know, I do chores in my house, and it was one night. It was a little bit farther along, and I was sad. So then I went to do the dishes, and then I get up to a part with the utensils, and we had this really, really sharp like knife, and I remember just picking it up and just thinking like, for me, I'm an all or nothing person, which is a good and bad thing, but I was just like, you know what, I was just gonna kill myself. I held the knife, and like it's really sad, but like I held it, and then I don't know, like I just like wanted to, like, you know, end my life so much. Felt like there was like someone's hand pushing the knife away from me. Like it was so strong, and then like it kind of like threw the knife away from me, and like I know that was God like trying to save me. And I just cried because like, wow, like I was going through all this, but still, like, you know, God's love was there for me. A youth service I had in my church, someone came to preach. This person didn't know me, but just prayed for me, and I just knew it was from God, because it was like things that no one knew. Like, no one knew I was sad, because I put up such a front and such a face. Like, no one knew what I was going through. Moment on, I actually let God into my life, and I told him like, I want to be free of this depression.
How old were you?
I was 11 to 12 years old. You remember? We're gonna not say his name. I was thinking like 13, closer. You were 30. I feel like it was closer to 13. Yeah, so it was like, but it started when I was 11.
Oh,
so it was all the way. It was like 2 years, and it's just, oh my God, so many. I was bullied at that time too, so like so many things happened, but it was like 2 years of just complete sadness. In my church, they would speak about like how God loves you, like how can God love me? Like, I'm not worth being loved. Like, you know, I don't see that. Like, how can he love someone like me? Like, and I allow God to just heal me from all the wounds of like being bullied, of depression. I started like seeing God move within me, and I was finally set free of that. Like, I made sure that I would like not got over depression, but made sure I eradicated depression from my life, and I decided that that would no longer have ties in my life. So I healed, but it was a lot of praying, and you know, I confided in telling my sister and my parents, and that's what really helped me get through it. And God was with me and helping me. It was like he just consoled me through so many situations in my life. So yeah, I hope that helped you guys understand my experience with depression. This will be my experience with depression. I was in high school, so like I was depressed around high school. So my self-image was really destroyed around this time. Closer to 15 to 16 years old, that's when I feel like I was in depression. It wasn't, cause like you can't just identify a specific point in time, because it comes like, I feel like in waves sometimes, because you're just not, you don't anticipate. You're like, this is the era of my depression. Like, you're not like at 14, let's start this. Like, you don't do that. It just happens. So for me, it's just like my self-image was badly hurt in this time, because you know, the standards of beauty were changing, obviously. So that was 4 years ago, 2016. So, you know, self-love, all these things were coming up. And even though these things were coming up, a lot of people had this certain image that they wanted me to be. Like, there are some guys and some like kind of toxic friends, toxic family members who would want me to be a certain way. And I feel like I was so tired of trying to play up to those roles. And it came to a point that also, you know, my spirit was affected, because I felt like with God, because I was Christian, I am Christian, it's just like, even at me as a Christian, like when you're talking to God, you know that no one can hear you. You know that it's just you and him. He doesn't judge you. He embraces you. He wants you to be your best and all that stuff. So like I felt like even with God, I was changing who I was. I wasn't being genuine anymore. I don't know if you went through that, but I feel like even like you try to put up a front with God, even though he sees right through your walls.
I feel you.
Yeah, trying to be like uplifting people when I needed to uplift myself. Like I was trying to do for someone else what I needed for myself that I couldn't give that I wasn't giving myself. I want to talk about it because how do you tell someone who's, you know, preaching? Like how do you tell someone who is preaching, who's doing parts and services, doing all of like what I felt was so much events, being out with my family? Like how do you tell someone who's so active and social that is like sick of it, tired of it? And you weren't the image of depression that people think. Yeah, I felt like I couldn't fit the image of depression because I didn't spend like weeks on my bed not leaving my house. I was always leaving my house in some sort of way, you know? It was denial. Like I knew that I was going through the sadness, but I couldn't label it that. I was denying that it could possibly be that. It was this one day that it just like kind of washed over me, and it was when I had a big disagreement with my friends. And then after school, it just, you know, it felt like a whole wave. And, you know, I had a lot of suicidal thoughts, you know, like I tried to, you know, commit suicide. And I'm telling you, if that triggers you, click out the video. I had before me options. And I just, like, I felt like I ran. I had so little strength in my spirit and in my body and, you know, mind, everything. And I had to really just pour out my soul to God. That night that I was going to do that, I had begun to drink alcohol. Don't recommend it if you're underage, overage. Anyway, so I don't know how much I drank. It felt like almost like I was blacking out, like passing out, mixing with pills and stuff like that. That's what, you know, that's what I thought that's what I thought, like, how, like, that was my only exit. That's the way I felt like I could exit my situation. I was in my hallway and, like, outside. And, like, I felt like I threw myself on the floor. And I'm like, how did I do that? Like, looking back. And as I threw myself on the floor, I sat up. But, like, I felt so weak. I felt like, even though all the lights in my house were on, I felt like there was a weight over me. And I sat up and I had my back against the wall, and I had before me, you know, a door to this room, which is where my sister was sleeping. And I was, you know, my option number one was, you know, wake her up, try to wake her up. And this girl doesn't wake up. So like, yeah. I felt like this would be like the most unpredictable situation to wake someone up and tell her, you know, I'm having these thoughts. I feel like I don't want to be here no more. Like, I know I love God. You know, I'm Christian, but, you know, I can't do this. I can't do life right now. Like, I want to take it all away. I don't want to come back, like, a situation like that. And then option number two was, in my parents' room, they have pills in there because we don't have a pill cabinet, because, you know, that's very unpredictable when people come in. So we usually keep it in our rooms in a very tight and secure place that only all of us know because we live here. Because I knew for sure that in their room was gonna be the pills that I could, you know, because like I felt like I was already passing out, and I felt such a pain that I would have drinking those pills. But I realized that mixing alcohol and pills, you know, that's the perfect storm for suicide, basically. Well, like unintentional overdose situation, you know, and things like that. So, and then before me was my third option, which is down the hall, which is where the bathroom is. And I chose the third one, thank God. I feel what I did is that, you know, I got myself up off the floor. I got myself like the towel from the room, so like I barely walked into my room. It was like it's at my door, so I just ripped it off the door. And I just brought it into the bathroom, and I was in the bathroom, like, basically with almost all my clothes on, and I was in the shower. Like, you know, like, all those depressive things in movies that you see. Yeah. So that was me in that moment. And I was sitting down, and I was, you know, crying because I felt so alone in that moment. Even though I knew, you know, there's people who love me, and above all things, God loves me. And, you know, Jesus loved me. He died for me. And I'm, like, thinking, like, like I really just had to analyze what I was attempting to do. Like I was already 50-60% of the way there to finish everything off, you know. But I just truly poured out my soul, and it was one of the first times I truly poured out my heart, everything that I had within me, every dark thought, everything that I had. I couldn't even say it. It was just like I felt like I was like your thoughts. Like it's finally you're finally letting them letting them come out to the forefront. I felt like I was truly healed from it, even though there was no pastor, there was no minister, there was no person that was there for me in that moment. It was a true encounter that I had with God. And there was a Bible verse that also brought me through this time. Yes, and it brought me through my depression. Even Revelations 21:4, and it says, "And God will wipe away every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death, no sorrow, no crying. There shall be no more pain, for the former things have passed away." So that's 21:4, and for me that truly impacted my heart, because like I'm like, you know, all these things that are going on are so temporary, and it made me see life in a way so objectively, because I felt like for such a long time I felt like I was only seeing the world like 2 feet at a time. Like I wasn't seeing one of the bigger pictures in life, that there is a hope, that one day there will be a, you know, there is this hope, that there is this one day there will be something more than just my pain, than my sorrow, and he will wipe it away. You know, the peace that God offers, that God gives, it doesn't compare to the world, because as much as you can have, you know, you can pop pills, or you can do any you can use substances or some other kind of secondary thing you can put into yourself. It's only temporary, but I'm telling you, like whoever is watching this, there's a peace that God gives in those times of need. Like it just doesn't compare to anything, and it brings you through. Like I'm telling you, like whatever you're going through, he will bring you through it. Like if God allowed you to walk through this time, is because he knew that you are strong enough to overcome this. He wants to be there with you. He doesn't want to exempt you from the things of the world, because we are here, we have to go through these things just as he did, and he went through the same emotions as every human being. But he will walk with you, and he will be your peace during this time, and he has already overcome. And you know, it's kind of perfect with today being Good Friday. God has overcome. Like when he, you know, gave his life on the cross, like he gave up his whole life. He like laid his life so that we can live. He just paved the way so that we can have part with God again, reuniting us from the beginning of time back, so that human beings can turn to him. Please hold on to Jesus, hold on to hope. And I ask wherever you are just to pray. And we're not going to structure out a prayer for you. Just tell God what's going on. Just tell Jesus what's going on. Just start off by saying, Lord God, I come before you. I don't know what's going on. What I'm going through right now, I don't know why I'm feeling this way. But Jesus, please have your way in my life. I don't know if I truly believe in you, God, but do something in me. And I guarantee that there will be a change in your life. When you truly are going to change and want to change, you will never be the same. And we're telling you this, and it's ironic that it's on Good Friday. Yes. But you know, it's just remembering his sacrifice. And when you come to know him in all these aspects, it gives you a greater perspective objectively, and you'll be able to see a greater world in the midst of chaos, and hope for the better and do better. I just want to say that we love you in the love of God. We love you so much, and we just want to say you are beautiful. You are handsome. You are perfect in God. Like you are perfect. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. You are. You have to believe it, because I believe that I am, and I believe that you are. Whoever is watching, and we love you so much. And I truly say that from the bottom of my heart. I'm not just saying it to say it, like, you know, just to cause an emotion, but I truly feel in my heart that I love you in that way. And God's love. And I just want to say also that if you really do need to talk to someone, we're always on our social media, like on Instagram. If you we're not gonna post it. I promise you, we're not gonna tell anybody. I'm sorry if it cut off. Someone called me, and I don't know where I was up to, but for our social media, like if you reach out to us like on Instagram, I guarantee we will answer you. If you just want to talk to someone, we can be that person for you. We always link our stuff down below. You can reach out on our channel one. Sometimes it's me who answers or her. It doesn't matter. But if you want to go on our personal ones, you can do that as well. If you really want to, I don't know how to link Snapchat, like I don't know, but I'll leave my Snapchat like name if you just want to talk there. And yeah, don't send like weird stuff, okay? Like if you actually just want to talk to someone, like we are open to that, and we are here for you in whatever way we can do for you, okay? May God bless you guys. We love you guys so much. Okay, bye mi gente. Bye mis amores.